Welcome back. Joel is here to tell you a story with.
I'm Matt.
And this is, again, Entertainment Banter.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening and tuning in this evening. We'd like to start off with some sensual sounds for you.
All right.
Ooh.
Lead the charge. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Ooh.
All right.
Gotta make it interesting. Nick, that one was for you. I thought of you the entire time. I can't wait till we actually get real listeners and they go back and they go, who the heck is this Nick guy?
Yeah, who's this Nick guy? Well, they'll know soon enough. We got to get him on for that other pod eventually.
Supposedly. And then that bald guy that...
Well, he's in China right now. He's got the
he flew back.
The coronavirus.
He flew back. He had to fly back early.
He had to fly back, I know.
Yeah.
He brought it with him. All right, so anyways, let's move on. What do we got?
Moving on. So for this evening's entertainment, we are going to talk about...
You're pulling out the Bible, huh?
Yeah, you see it. I have the book.
I see it. I know.
Yeah. It's all the shit we do. Anyways, anything and everything we do on podcast is on here. So recently, the Golden Globes happened.
Oh, yeah.
Rick Gervais?
Yeah, Rick.
Jarvis?
Ricky.
Keep going. Ricky? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the host of the Golden Globes.
Yes, he was.
And he gave a very interesting opening speech. It's about 8 minutes long or so.
Yep.
So if you want to feel relevant at us talking about this speech, take your time. We'll wait. Go watch that speech. Just type in 2020 Golden Globe speech. What. I'm sure it'll come up. But
way to start the new year, right?
This 2020 has started off very strong, I think. I think we're going in the right direction. We had to hit there's a lot of pebbles in the road, some large orange pebbles. But we are going in the right direction now, and hopefully we are going to see light. Mm-hmm. But Ricky shed a lot of light real hard. Real fast.
It's kind of funny what he said, isn't it? It's stuff we've been talking about for the past 2 years.
Absolutely. And the thing is, people were laughing, and I believed him because I've seen him talk, and he has a talk show, right? Right, he has a talk show, right?
He may have. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Follow him that much.
I've listened to him talk on other things. I've never watched a show of his, but him talking, you could tell when there are jokes and when there's not. And he was being serious.
Yeah.
This whole speech.
He was being legit the whole time.
He legit, and he threw in barks at people to make jokes, to make it funny. But in the end, it was he
wasn't playing.
Let's use the term that the kids are using these days. It was a very woke speech, and I hope it awoke a lot of people in that room and who were listening to it.
Well, I don't know. We were having discussions about that a couple of days ago.
We were
with platforms and whether people have enough of them to talk their fill.
Right.
All right. So well, for people that don't know Joel, why don't you just tell us what happened at the Golden Globes when he did the speech? He's obviously the host. He did it 5 times in a row, right? This is his 5th year doing it.
He's kind of sick of doing it. He said, which everyone's like laughing, like I know. I really think he's sick of it, guys. And he started complaining about how Kevin Hart couldn't host the Oscars because of some tweet he did years ago that he fully apologized for. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Kevin Hart, but for a tweet he did years ago,
quite a bit.
Yeah, he has to me too, and especially since he's Dwayne Johnson's little buddy, and literally, and that they actually put him in I think now he is actually coming stronger from it and away from it.
Well,
and they had him put his cement hands and feet into the Chinese theater over in Hollywood, and that's a big thing because you can get a star, but to get your handprints and feet print is a whole another deal, which is amazing. So I'm glad that's happening to him. But he mentions that in this speech about how he couldn't host the Golden Globes, but I'm still hosting these or host the Oscars, but I'm still hosting the Golden Globes, and here's my speech, and I'm sure they'll ask me again next year. So he's giving that speech,
the last one,
and he wants it to go quick, and he wants the speeches to go quick, and he's telling the actors this is not your platform to preach about,
Well, explain why. I mean, he gave a beautiful example as to why.
A lot of the examples were like, you can't. A lot of the actors go up there and talk about global warming and all that, but he's pretty sure that most of the actors in this room, or the talent in that room, took their private jets to get here. And
right. Well, that's the global warming conference, wherever the hell it was. They did all that anyways.
And it's ridiculous how they all take their private jets. Like, no, fly coach over there with a bunch of people to save on.
He called them out even more so. He called out Amazon, Apple, and Disney, and he said that you guys pretend to be woke, but you guys are treating people like slave wages and not with respect, and then you turn around and you're doing movies saying this is wrong, and people are acting. That's why he said if ISIS had a streaming service,
like they'll jump on any streaming service is popular.
They would call their agents to say, "Hey, can I get on that show?"
Because
it's all about money. It doesn't matter if ISIS is blowing up people every day. It's just
the next big thing, so they want to be a part of it.
I mean, that was awesome. I mean, like, to me, it was kind of like I don't know how to describe it. When I watched it, first of all, I was just like dumbfounded that like anyone in Hollywood would have the nutsack to do that. And then second of all, like what he was saying, like vindicated like half of what the American people are thinking most of the time, but just don't want to say it. I mean, I thought it was a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you. Like, because these people in Hollywood, and you know this, we work with a whole bunch of people, but like, they have this air about them, like, and it's funny too because everyone starts in the same place, I shouldn't say everyone, let me rephrase, but I would say the people that are quickly successful in the industry are either in the know, related, so on and so forth, generational kind of thing.
Of course.
Then you have the people that, like start from nowhere and if they're lucky, make their way up, which is totally possible. But it doesn't matter if they were raised in it or fought for it and got there. Once they get to a certain point, it's like all of a sudden there's massive ego, and it doesn't matter if you're a chorus girl in a chorus line on Broadway, or if you're an extra in like 90 movies. Like at some point people just start getting this air about them, like, well, I've been in these, so I know what I'm talking about, blah 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 blah. And then of course you get to the Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio level. It's all of a sudden it's like, well, and Beyonce, it's like all of a sudden everything they say, they shit gold. They shit gold all the time. So it's like, and then then the horror stories like, don't make eye contact with them, don't talk to them, and it's for their craft, it's for their art. And to some extent, I get that, especially if you're an actor performing in a scene, or in the moment, camera's rolling. But I mean, to be like that on a regular basis, once a film project is done, that's douchebaggy. But
I don't think those people you named do that.
Well, my point is, I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying that there's an air about them after a certain point.
Of course.
But this is the Golden Globes. But I was going to say the what was it? The Grammys just happened too. They had the lowest ratings they've ever had. Every year, all these award shows, their ratings have just been tanking.
Well, because it's all freaking like the people who win is subjective, and who's really voted on these. And when you see like who goes up for an Academy Award and even for the Oscars, you're like, well, why didn't this movie go for it? Like, that's why we were shocked that Black Panther was even nominated.
Right. Well, again,
it wasn't
like, though, because it was a political thing, right? It was a political move, right? So, like, we didn't cater to the African American community in years past, and so we're going to do it this year.
Yeah, he made fun of that too, or didn't make fun of it. He mocked it, saying like, "Hey, we're not going to memoriam the night because not enough black people died this year." So they're all white. They were all white, so we're not going to do it. It's not color washed yet, so we're not going to do one. He said that in his speech.
Yeah, he did. I know, it's hilarious. But it's just funny
because
just
people complain about so much fucking shit. Like you're complaining about the wrong things.
Well, I mean, it was a long time ago, especially to a millennial generation. But to me, it wasn't that long ago. When I was in high school and college, we would watch these award shows, and maybe one person would bring up something political, But the rest of the time, it was just like, thank you to the producers, thank you for these opportunities, thank you for these mentors, all these kind of things, right? Now it's like everyone comes up there like, did you hear how lipstick will, black out the sun in the year 4900? Like, it's like no one gives a shit. It's like, it's so dumb. So dumb.
The speeches they do, I'm going to be honest, and you're going to probably fight me on this. The speeches that a lot of them do, I believe in. I do believe what they're saying is genuine. I do believe that what they're saying should happen. But the thing is, it should not come from their mouth, because it's almost like being a hypocrite when they say what they're saying is true. What they're saying is true, and it is absolutely true. A lot of what they're saying, but when they say it and they're in their private jets and all that shit, and they're doing all that, it's hard. It becomes hypocrites, and then it's hard, and it's hard to listen to it. And then you hear people saying this is their platform, and they get to do that, and like, not people have this platform. But the thing is, it's the wrong time to do it. Honestly, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie can talk a lot because they do a lot. They fly overseas. So I'm just saying certain people do it.
So does you too, but you never hear them say anything.
But it's hard when like Leonardo DiCaprio preaches it, but then you have video and footage of him flying in his private jets to all these places doing that. And I don't know if you see that with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. She probably has a whole orphanage now of Ethiopian kids. But you can tell the difference between which ones are actually genuine and who are not.
Yeah.
I don't think Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's ever done a true speech that way. Recently, I think Brad Pitt did. I have not heard it in rebuttal to Ricky's speech.
Sure.
But other performers, I don't think they don't have any say to do it, just because they're all hypocrites in that sense. You know what I mean?
Well, so I'm gonna just be.
What they're saying is not wrong. I'm not saying what they're saying is not wrong. It's just what they're saying.
Let me ask you. Okay, you saying that? That's bullshit. I'm telling you, it's bullshit. Because
absolutely.
Yes, it is. It is bullshit. Because
they preach on global warming. They preach on the politics and all that. It's all accurate what they're talking about.
Okay. Well, what about Harvey Weinstein, where they said, "Oh yeah, he's a god and he's great," and then next 2 years later, it's like, "Oh, he's an abusive man and women had to be sexed in and it's awful." What
I know.
So my point is, at one award show, they're praising the hell out of this guy, and then 2 years later. Women are abused, and you can't have it both ways.
Those could be the same people that are hypocrites that I'm talking about. The ones that.
But you said everything they said was accurate.
It is accurate. It is accurate. The thing is,
that he's a god and he was great.
No. No one's ever called him a god. I've never.
Yes, they did.
Oh my God! I hope no one did.
Yes, they did. See, that's my point.
Here's the deal.
Hollywood
hold on. They absolutely. But so does Fox News. Anyways.
Oh, you're such a fool. Stop. Watch. Look. Okay.
Stop.
I don't get my news sources from Cartoon Network. All right.
Hold yourself. It's Nickelodeon. Hold yourself. Do not spit that up. No, hold on a sec.
I'm drinking my beer here.
Wait. So, yeah, is that a Zima?
You're so stupid. No.
Look,
keep going. What do you got?
Oh, God, fuck you. The Weinstein thing, I feel like it's a touchy subject because we don't know what happened, but I do know that I do know
yes,
this.
We do know what happened.
I do know this, that the entertainment industry is a fickle bitch.
Of course it is.
To get jobs in this industry is not as easy as, here's my resume.
People backstab all the time. All the time. They're the biggest hypocrites.
Do I think Harvey Weinstein got blowjobs to give girls jobs? Absolutely. Most producers back in the day probably did. There's a thing why there's a reason why there's called a casting couch.
Yeah.
It's not where you sit down and fish. It's where
Well, and here's the thing too. Guess what? Not all women, and I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this, but not a lot of women are perfect. And I can tell you right now,
and I'm sure they weren't forced to do any of that.
They knew the game. Some of them. I'm not saying they deserve it.
No.
I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying there are certain ones that do that intentionally. Not always. But
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But as soon as a couple complained about it, because now I'm not saying that the women are wrong to complain about what happened, because it's not right that he did that. Weinstein didn't help either way, so he is a scumbag for not helping either direction. He's like, oh, if you're gonna suck my dick, yeah, I don't know if you're gonna get the job.
Here's the other thing.
But the girls who did it, they did it willingly. I don't know. He didn't hold a gun to their heads. I have no idea. But when Weinstein asks you to come to his hotel room at 3 a.m. for an audition, there should be something up. But here's the thing.
That's like the common sense nursery rhyme,
Absolutely.
Grimm fairy tales kind of thing.
But the girls who did it too, they probably felt like they had to do it to keep their job. To be honest, they felt like they had to. So the ones who spoke up are honest, and they probably told the truth. But then you have bandwagoners like, oh, I had to do that too, but I want to get on this too. So you don't know who's fully.
No. I
don't want to really say much on it because I was not involved in it. I was not. Yeah. I can't say I'm not a female, Matt. So I don't know how that dynamic is.
Well, he could have done it to men too. You don't know.
I like to think that I treat all women the same way I treat all men. Everyone just
like an asshole.
Like yeah, exactly. If you treat them all like shit, you're not going to get in trouble. You know what I mean? You're not getting privileges to other people.
I am definitely not going to say it didn't happen, to anyone. So if they said it happened, I'm going to take them at their word. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But my point isn't did the abuse happen or not happen, or do we believe her or not believe her? That's not what I'm talking about at all. What I'm talking about is I'm talking about it was like the elephant in the room. It was something that a lot of people in Hollywood knew was happening,
Absolutely.
But nobody said anything. Nobody did anything for the longest time. But then they all got up there on their soapbox, their platform, and they would tell us how bad we are as human beings. We paid money to go see their movies, and then they would tell us how bad we are because we didn't. We bought popcorn at the theater, and the popcorn bags that they come in are ruining the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's where it's hypocritical and stupid.
No one said that. That was a little extreme example, but I get what you're saying.
You do get what I'm saying.
No one said that, though. No one said don't buy the popcorn.
No one said don't buy the popcorn, but the point I'm making is people that are supporting their careers, this industry, are being told they're pieces of shit because they accumulate trash. That's basically what they're saying. Because how else are you supposed to take that? Like, what more can I do? Should I stop wiping my ass with toilet paper? Like, what? How far should I go, Brad? Tell me.
Well, bidets are a thing, and you can use bidets to wash your ass. And,
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, can you tell me where I can go buy one of those? Is that a Home Depot thing? Can I get it at Home Depot?
You can actually, yeah. You absolutely can. And you also can go on Amazon, which is the biggest retailer in the world right now. Fuck, man, it used to be a used bookstore.
All right, so getting back to this amazing speech that Ricky gave. Okay, so what were some of the points that you agreed with? What were some of the points that you may not have agreed with? What?
Hard to say because I watched it 2 days ago. Maybe we should pause this and I can go watch it again.
Please don't.
I do agree with him saying that the actors are on their high horse and that most of them take private jets places, and the ones who do that don't have a right to talk about global warming. But I also believe that global warming, it's a way people are watching this, and it's a way to get it known because global warming is hard. Because Al Gore is a very big, advocate of it. But
he did his documentary forever ago.
It's just hard to get that out, so that it's a way to get more people watching. But the more of these speeches they do, the less people are going to start. Hold on, stop talking. I'm still talking. The more speeches they do like that on their soapbox, on their platform, or on their fucking high horse, the less ratings these shows will get because it's going to drag them out. And people are like, well, I just wanted to know who won. Like, we want some jokes, we want some humor, and we want to know who you're going to thank, and let's move on. Now these shows are being dragged out with these long speeches, and now their ratings are suffering from it.
You're kind of all over the place in that comment. You kind of confused me with your answer. So I understand and agree with everything you're saying. But I think originally what I was trying to get at was you were talking about specifically global warming, right? And we were talking because we had this discussion with one other person briefly.
Example.
I know, but what I'm saying is we had this. It doesn't matter. The point I'm making is we're talking about it as a platform to get information out, right?
Right.
Global warming, not enough chocolate in the world. Take your pick. The point I'm making is you honestly think. I mean, I'm going to use global warming because you brought it up. You honestly think, and they did too, actually.
Let's do climate change.
Okay, climate change, whatever. Perfect. That's even better. climate change, which, by the way, no, it's not.
Yes, it's
not. It's a different term. A climate can change due to all kinds of things. It's not just global warming. Global warming means that the deterioration of the ozone layer, melting the ice caps.
They started using the word climate change because some idiots and politicians right now are believing that. You say, "Oh, the world is warming," but that's not what it fucking means. It doesn't mean that the whole planet's just warming. It means things are changing.
Right, the climate is changing. Yes,
and that's why they use them. Now they're using it. No.
Yes, it is different from global
warming.
Climate
changes every season. Yes, we know that.
Okay, but my point, that's not what I was going to say. What I'm going to say is...
Go on.
The fact that... My point is, the phrase climate change, yes?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Did you not hear that phrase before Brad Pitt mentioned it on his platform?
Yeah, I've heard that phrase.
Okay, that's my point. Everybody's fucking heard this shit. That's like me going up getting an award and saying, "Hey guys, did you know that there's air in the world? Or did you know that the sun rises every day?" Look, you don't need to fucking tell us. Just get your award and tell us how you got it, who helped you. Did dad help you, or did he beat you? Did Harvey Weinstein, after a couple of rapes, give you this opportunity? Was it worth it? Like, why don't you tell us those stories as opposed to just telling us about stuff that may or may not affect us?
That'd be really cool speeches of how I got here.
Absolutely would be. Are you kidding me?
So people argue that this is their platform to talk and people will listen. Well, here's the thing. All the people go up there, and most of them are, would you say, millionaires?
I'm sure they would be.
Tens of millionaires?
Of course.
If they decided to do like a YouTube video, or even like, I don't know, Will Smith has millions of followers on Instagram and he doesn't do speeches on there, but he has followers that look at him. He's an Instagram influencer now. Wouldn't you say that those are better platforms to do that?
I would say absolutely, because multiple reasons. One, it's different when you are following somebody.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
Like, and if I'm a fan of Joel and I want to know what makes him tick and what he thinks is important or valuable,
follow me at Joel's Auto Adventures.
I'll read what he says and I'll be like, okay, cool. But that's because I went looking for your opinion.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, but that's also a problem.
And could you imagine? Hold on. This is extreme. But could you imagine if somebody goes up on their platform, soapbox, and says, I think there's too many people in the world. We should start genocide.
Woof.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they're not wrong.
But you know what I'm saying, though? It's like... You're so stupid. But you know what I mean, though? There's a point where it can be offensive to some.
Also, the problem with that, too, is there are lots of things on the internet. There are lots of videos, pictures, memes, information. It's hard to figure out for the average Joe what is correct and what is wrong. So when they find something that speaks to them and they feel like, oh, this sounds correct to me, they full-heartedly go, no, this is the truth and this is the fact. Example, if you look up vaccines for kids, did you get vaccines for your kids?
Oh, it's a constant conversation.
Absolutely, it's a constant. But I don't know where it came from where all of a sudden vaccines are giving kids autism and hurting them, when in reality it was keeping a lot of things up. Measles are coming back because people aren't doing vaccines, and it's like there's a ton of information. There's a ton of information out there on how vaccines are good for you, but then there's very little information about how they're bad for you. So it's like,
that's
why
an easy thing.
But people they want to believe what they want to believe, just like flat earthers.
No. I'll explain that to you. That vaccine thing is a perfect example. One is there's a lot of contributing factors. You want to talk about climate change? Let's talk about in terms of vaccinations, right? Well, if you have, don't hate me on this, but if you have an influx of people coming into an area, whether it's a school, a country, take your pick, and they're coming from places that they don't vaccinate, and they still have these diseases, then you're running into the risk of acquiring these diseases if you're not immunized. So the thing is, yes, you should be getting vaccinated, to some extent. But getting back to what you're saying, and I agree with you, there's not a lot of information of why it's bad to vaccinate, because 9 times out of 10 they have to have studies, and those studies don't happen for, you don't know the effects until like 10 or 20 years after that. So like, for example, the first generation of kids, they say, let's try this new vaccination, so they give it to the kid, and then they monitor that kid's progression for 10, 20 years, and then they start to see whether there were side effects or not. Just like vaping, when that came out, everyone was like, oh, it's a great alternative to smoking, and in my head I'm thinking, there's no fucking way I'm going to do that, because you're still putting like vapor and chemicals into your lungs. But because it was so new and fresh and a better alternative to smoking, people were like, oh, okay.
The FDIC was not the FDIC.
Right. Well, they didn't really try or no. But now, I don't know. But now they're saying that vaping they're starting now, because it's been out for what, 5-7 years? I don't know, 10 years. Mm-hmm. So now they're starting to see the effects of long-term vaping and what it does to people. But they wouldn't have known at the beginning because no one was doing it. So you got to have people do it. Right. Before it happens. Right. So that's why what your argument about the information is no one really knows. So for us,
we have a lot of positive information of that it does work. That's the thing.
Course. Right, but how you do it, when you do it,
these are all factors too. It's just like flat earthers. There's a lot of positive information out there showing the world is round. But there are so many naysayers saying, oh, it's flat. I thought we discovered this already. I thought we already kiboshed this, but I love how it came back. But I love how you can go like, well, the other planets are round. They're like, yeah, the other planets are round. Cool.
Well,
but
that's
the Earth is flat?
Well, you were talking about it too. The internet is a dangerous thing because you can't fact check everything. You constantly have to do your homework. You just have to do your homework. And I think a lot of people are either too lazy or, like you said, take it for granted that they just assume that's what it is.
You do here's an example. First off, I want to point out, look how quiet I was during your talking. I let you talk and I didn't interrupt you like you interrupted me.
Can you hear this?
Yeah, it hurts my soul. Your middle finger. Let's do an example real quick. Let's wrap this video up. We went way off whatever topic we were talking about.
We were talking about Ricky's awesome speech.
You go into Google. You throw in your search, what you want to search. Why aren't babies waterproof? Why aren't babies dishwasher safe? The first article comes up and it says babies are dishwasher safe. You assume the first hit you get is the most responsive and the most information, and a lot of people do that and they think the first one is it. You go to the second or third page on Google, that's like the graveyard. Why are you already doing there? Like, that's information you're not even going to look at. So people already neglect information on the internet further down the list because out of laziness, out of spite, out of not misinformation, out of anything. So,
well, it's like Google Ads. That's what it is. Right. Google, you pay to have your stuff at the top of the line.
Whoever has the most money gets their hits higher. So, like, you type in Mormon, I'm sure you're going to get a shit ton of good hits because you're going to have a lot of stuff on Mormonism.
I'm not sure where you're going.
I don't know. I'm just saying because the Mormon church has a lot of money and they're probably promoting they want people to convert. It's the fastest growing religion right now, and it's just.
I thought Scientology was.
It scares me. I don't know. Scientology. I think either Tom Cruise went crazy, or was he crazy because of Scientology? Who knows?
I don't know.
But you're only Scientologist if you're rich. But Mormons, yeah. So I'm just saying, like, money influences a lot, and so does religion.
Right.
And internet's dangerous, and Ricky Gervais is on to something, and we'll see what happens from here on out.
Do you think he got blacklisted for life?
Who knows? I do not know the answer to that. I'm
sure he doesn't care one way or the other.
He's a funny guy. I love the Brits. So this 2020 is going to be an interesting year because I feel like people are just saying, I'm fucking woke now, and I can say what the fuck I want. So that's what they do.
No, I think it's different because, like a lot of people say, go broke.
People are calling other people on their shit now, and I think it's good. I think it's needed to be done. No one's going like, was that good art? No, it's garbage.
Well, getting back to the platforms real quick, it's the idea like anybody. This is the day and age where anyone could have a platform. You know what I mean? Anyone with a phone or internet.
This is
Twitter,
our platform.
Facebook. It is our platform. So the excuse of
The 3 people that watch
the excuse to not have a platform is absolutely BS. The question is your message...
Thanks, Platypus.
Is your message important enough, for people to be interested in it or not? And not everybody's going to be interested in your message.
Right. With that being said...
Yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. You got it out of the system. I hope no one thinks we're horrible people.
They do, but that's all right. There's a lot of people that don't think that, so I'm not here to please everybody. I'm just here to be real.
Let's be real, my friend. And with that final note, my name is Joel.
And I'm Matt.
This was Entertainment Banter. And I'm done.